You've heard this probably 100 times when people say happiness is a choice. You see it on social media, you see it on Instagram, you see it on Facebook, in self-help books. But if you really think about what it actually means to you, is that if happiness is a choice and you're not happy right now, that means that you're choosing wrong. It means like you're not capable. It means like you feel like something's broken inside of you. So let me tell you what actually happiness is and what you should focus on instead. So if you reflect on your life, think about the last time that you were genuinely happy, not just like performing happy, but like really actually happy. Like what were you doing? It was probably something kind of specific, like you had dinner with friends, or maybe you went to the gym and when you came back from the gym, you felt good, or maybe you were like holding a child, or like you finish a project at work or you get a bonus and then you feel good, right? Now think about what happens after that, like 1 hour later or 1 day later, and then suddenly the happiness fades, right? And of course the happiness fades because happiness is like it's like a response. It's like you take an action and you receive happiness. It's a reaction to something that you do externally, to something that you either have achieved or either that you have experienced. And in general, it is not a problem. It's just how happiness works. Happiness comes, happiness goes. And that's how it's supposed to be. But it's never sustainable. And the funny thing is that we all chase it on a daily basis. So I see a lot in my work with my coaching clients is they are successful in their career, but they are not fulfilled. And so then in midlife, when you have to make a career change, it's because you're pursuing all that happiness to have a good life, but then you still don't feel fulfilled. So the problem that starts is when we are told that happiness should be permanent, or it's like a permanent state that we should live in or be in. And when we're told it's a choice that you make, and then every time like the happiness fades, and it almost always does not, then it feels like you failed, right? It makes you feel dumb in a way. It's like, oh, if happiness is a choice, and if I'm not happy, that means like there must be something wrong with me because if it's just a choice, I can make the choice to be happy, but it's not sustainable. And then you don't feel good about yourself, right? So when happiness is not sustainable and it fades, what most people do is they go and search for the next big thing to be happy. So it's like getting more achievements, or you go on a date, or you buy something new, or you meet up with friends. This is all not because, people are greedy, but it's because they're trying to fill something inside of them that makes them not feel fulfilled. So let me explain what's actually happening through the suited monk philosophy. We all have three parts. You have a suit, you have a monk, and you have a gap between the two. So your suit is your external self. It's like how you show up to the world. And the monk is your internal self. It's who you are on the inside. And the gap is the separation between your external and internal self. When the gap is large, there's more negative emotions and suffering and frustration. When the gap is small, the more aligned you feel within. So in my own journey, I always used to pursue my suit, right? It was about success, it was about achievement because I thought that's going to bring fulfillment, but it never lasted. So I went to China when I was 27 years old. I used to work there as an expat for an international shipping company. And I had a taste of that success and that happiness, but it was always like something that I was chasing, but it was never sustainable. I was never really at ease with myself. So, how is that possible? Because I still had a very big gap inside myself. I was very disconnected from my true essence, my monk, and the person I tried to show to the real world. So, when you chase happiness, trying to do things, trying to achieve, trying to buy something, trying to, consume or perform, that's basically your external self performing. And your external self or your suit is excellent at getting these things done, but it can only produce temporary happiness because your soup operates externally. It can receive happiness, but it cannot like sustain the feeling, right? Because then your monk is missing, your true essence is missing. For example, you go to the gym and you feel good, or you meet your friends and it's great, or you get a bonus and you feel great, but it's not lasting. And when you get home, when it's like quiet, when the happiness is all gone, when there's nothing left to do, you return back to your natural state, to the gap between your suit and your monk, your external and internal self. And if you still have that gap and that gap isn't cleaned, there is still unresolved pain inside and unmet needs. And it's like a quiet voice saying something is not right. And that is your gap. And so no amount of that external happiness can cover for that long. So when people say happiness is a choice, it's not about achieving all these external things, because if you don't clean the gap inside of yourself, the happiness will never be sustainable. And that is the part that most people don't see. They're not happy because like you're not trying hard enough. They're unhappy because they keep adding external happiness on top of the gap they still have within. And so the happiness they covers like negative emotions inside the gap for a while, but the moment that your external thing is done, the feelings underneath they come right back up. And that is basically the cycle or the loop that many people go through. You achieve something, you feel good, and then the feeling fades, and then the emptiness returns, right? And then they go and chase the next thing. It's like over and over again. And it's not because you're weak or anything, it's because nobody told you that the system was set up wrong. So your inner monk doesn't need external happiness to be okay. Like your inner monk is like the natural state when the gap is clean, when you are at peace, when there is no euphoria, right? It's a quiet, grounded sense that you are okay and authentic as you are. When you have that inner peace and when your monk is connected and when the gap is cleaned, then you add external happiness on top of the inner peace. And then the happiness will last longer. And then the happiness does not depend anymore on the external, is because you have the peace internal. So peace internal, happy external. Yeah. So when people say happiness is a choice, I'd reframe that and I would say inner peace is a choice. Happiness is what you add on top. So stop chasing happiness as a destination. Happiness is not sustainable as a permanent state. Nobody is happy all the time. And when people pretend it's like a recipe for shame or covering up their negative emotions. Yeah. So what is sustainable is inner peace. It is the clean inner alignment with yourself, with your inner monk. That's when you have a very small gap. It's a life where you are not constantly running away from what's inside of you. You have embraced your natural self. So in the Suited Monk philosophy, the first principle that we teach is live a no gap life. That means you clean the negative emotions inside the gap first. You deal with what's actually going on inside you. You stop covering up the traumas or the shame with external wins or happiness and start doing real internal work. Then when the gap becomes smaller, you return to your monk. And your monk's default state is already at peace. It was just cover up with all these negative emotions. So you bridge and you clean that gap. Live a no gap life is the first principle in the Suited Monk philosophy. And that's how you can live an integrated life. Align your monk with your suit as one and bridge the gap. So you can be at peace internally and then you add happiness on top externally. So for this week, try something. The next time that you reach for something that makes you happy or you would try to achieve something that makes you happy, just pause for a second and then ask yourself, am I adding happiness on top of my peace? Or am I trying to achieve this happiness to cover something up, which is then the gap? So you don't have to change something. You just have to notice and become aware of it. And that noticing, that's actually your gap waking up. That's your monk waking up. And that's the real place where the inner work needs to be done. So monk first, suit second, inner peace first, happiness second. If you want to know today how big the gap is inside yourself right now, you can take a free questionnaire. that we've developed, and I'll put a link below the video. You can take that, and then you'll receive a report on the actual size of your gap and what you can also do to bridge that gap. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel so we can spread this message with more people. Leave your thoughts and comments below the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.